Hello everyone, welcome to Narain's Life with MS. This is Narain, and considering it is Friday, it is time for Friday findings. Now, I usually do preface every Friday finding with, how close to normal um, the articles are for the day, and definitely today's articles are, I want to say, a completely different tangent from what I normally discuss, because normally there is something that is related to something scientific, something related to public health, something else that might concern a certain person. But today's articles only really concerns two people, both of them very famous actors, both of whom actually have been diagnosed with MS in the past, I want to say in the past 5 to 10 years. So both of them have, different stories. Both of them have very unique stories. And of course, if you are someone with MS, you would understand that, everyone's diagnosis, everyone's disease is different from each other. So, what these two people might be experiencing might be something completely different from what you might be experiencing with the condition. So, um, do do listen to what these people have to say. I will, of course, share the links of the articles in in the description of this video, so that you can definitely see, read the articles. I think with both of these articles, I think it is sort of a link that gets you on a page with another link, and while I have tried copying that link, it gets me back into the redirecting link page. So um, you might require 2 clicks to actually read both of these articles. But with that said, of course, let's get started with the article. So starting off with our first article, concerns an actor by the name of Christina Applegate. Now, Christina Applegate is, I really like her acting. I do think she is an amazing comedic actor, and she definitely has played some very important roles in the past. Certain things that I remember her with are, quite a few movies she's been a part of. She also was the main character, the titular character in a show called Samantha Who, and she also played one of Jennifer Aniston's sisters in Friends by the name of Amy. So Christina Applegate was diagnosed with MS in 2021, and she has definitely shared a lot about her medical condition, how she looks at it, and her experiences throughout having this medical condition. So the story goes that in around March, she was actually admitted to a hospital, but there is no exact knowledge from any news source as to why she is in that hospital. So given that she has had other medical issues before she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, it might be and this is of course no speculation on my part, but there can be many reasons for why someone does need to go to a hospital, does need to spend some time at a hospital. And while yes, MS might be a reason to be spending time at a hospital, it might not be the sole reason for spending time at a hospital. It could be that she was feeling a certain way, or she was experiencing something that could be completely different, and so she did needed some she did need to some medical intervention to pretty much feel a little better. So here is hoping um, good health and of course a good recovery to Christina Applegate, and really hoping that um, that with the proper treatment she does come out, and she does end up sharing a little more information about why she ended up going into the hospital in the first place. But there can be 1,001 reasons, and MS can maybe only serve a fraction of those reasons. So it is, of course, a little too early to give a reason for why she might have entered a hospital. But with that said, that was story number one. You can, of course, read it and come to your own conclusion as to why she would have needed to check in to a medical facility, and so you can come to your own conclusions in regards to why this is happening with Christina Applegate. But of course, like I said, this was article number one, so we can go ahead and talk about article number two. So talking about article number two, like I said, this one also discusses another pretty famous actor by the name of Selma Blair. Now, Selma Blair was diagnosed with MS in 2018 and did mention or has mentioned in the past that she was experiencing symptoms well before her diagnosis in 2018. So the story for Selma Blair now is that she has been relapse free for a while, and of course this is this does tell us a little bit about her condition. There is a pretty high chance that she had a relapsing form of multiple sclerosis, most likely RRMS, which is of course the most common form of multiple sclerosis that is diagnosed. Now when she does mention that she is relapse free, generally doctors tend to associate that with mentioning that being relapse free means that for a set amount of time, usually a certain period of time which is associated with that one patient experiencing at least 1 to 2 relapses, does not experience that many relapses. Usually also saying that you are relapse free usually usually comes under the the assumption of being around a year of being relapse free, which of course is great. So that is amazing news from Selma Blair. And of course, apart from that, she does mention that being on her current treatment, which I do believe is Mavenclad. I think you might need to check my sources on it, but with her current treatment, she does feel a little more confident about her abilities to be able to do certain things, manage her time, manage her energy, which of course is something that we all hope to experience with the kind of DMTs we are receiving for MS. So this of course covers the second story that we are talking about, but of course one of the things to definitely note is that while Selma Blair was diagnosed in 2018, she was experiencing quite a few symptoms for a pretty long time before then. And so a lot of the symptoms she was experiencing dealt with fatigue, dealt with an inability to be able to completely work throughout a day. And considering she is coming she is an actor. She is an actor. It definitely means that she used to have, she would have very busy days, which would involve a lot of travel, a lot of energy. And so, her having, of course, first the information, the knowledge that she had MS, and then, of course, promptly getting on a therapy that did end up improving her life, does mean that she is definitely in good hands, and that she is going to continue to hopefully keep improving in certain ways, and definitely having a much better quality of life as a result. So that, of course, is the second story regarding Selma Blair. And of course, you can read the article um, through the link that I have shared in the description section of this video. But yes, do share your thoughts, your insights, and your experiences about this article, so that we can get a conversation started. And of course, you can read the article and come to your own conclusions as to what really did end up helping Selma Blair make the statement that she did, apart from the fact that she might not have experienced a proper relapse in the past 12 to 18 or even 24 months. So yes, with that being said, that was article number 2. So yes, welcome back. So hopefully you did enjoy this version of Friday Findings. I know this one is a little bit shorter, but considering we are I was talking mostly about two different people, two different actors with slightly different experiences, you would probably understand why it is much more important to just share the facts as they are known about both of these actors, and of course the stories that have been shared in the description section. So yes, please do read it. Please do come up with your own conclusions. If you do want to discuss anything, please drop your thoughts, your comments, your insights, and your experiences, so that we can get a conversation started. And with that said, I do know that it is Friday, so I do want to wish you a very happy weekend, and of course hoping that you have some great things planned for this weekend. But with that said, this is Naren's Life with MS. I am Naren, and here's wishing you a good night, sweet dreams. Of course, I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.